We're going to be reading Shatter Me series. I love all of the dramatic shoes. Have you met your girlfriend? She's kind of a badass. Not normal behavior. Not normal behavior. Hello. Welcome. We are about to embark on a very special quest together in that we are going to tackle this series here. A 6-book series with 3 novellas. I love dystopia, and it is just truly like wild to me that I never stumbled on this series as a child, and I just need to right that wrong. I am gonna bring you along. It's gonna be full spoilers because I don't know how to do an entire series this deep without spoilers. Anyway, we're gonna head to the cafe now. I'm gonna bring Shatter Me with me, and we're gonna get into the Shatter Me universe. Let's go. Well, we are in fact off to the races with Shatter Me. I'm having such a good time. I think we are definitely on the money for the bingeable part because I'm already halfway. I only read a few hours today, so I'm pretty happy with that progress. Thoughts so far. Number 1, I love how this is written. I feel like this is such an underrated book for the writing style, and Tara Mafi is doing something so unique and quite bold as a writer, and I love it. I'm so here for it. I know some people are like, it's really confusing and you get past it. I love it. I'm here for it. I think it's one of the best bits. I love this world that we're in of like, she wakes up in this prison and she's like, what's happening? And I love how we're like being drip fed the little pieces of the outside world. Then, from a character's perspective and for like the actual story where we're going and predictions and thoughts so far, I am having a hard time because obviously we have our main chick, Juliet. She feels like she's going insane, which is reflected in the writing style, obviously. I do not know what Warner's deal is. I should preface, I've done very well to avoid most spoilers for this series. Like every time I'm ever on TikTok and I see anything to do with it, I go, bye you go, bye-bye. And so I've done pretty well, but I think the only spoiler that I have genuinely had is that I think there is something to do with Warner. People talk about Warner a lot. And so I suspect that that means he might be the love interest. Don't know. Maybe that's incorrect. I might eat these words later and feel embarrassed, but that's fine. All that said, on my first read through, I had this fact, and I just didn't get it. I was like, I don't really see how this guy could be the love interest. Really not understanding, like I don't get it. But now that I'm reading it a second time, I'm analyzing everything he says, and there's so many times where he'll like start to say something and she'll like insert words for him, and he's like, yeah, that's what I meant. And it's almost like she's assuming the worst, and then he's like, yeah, sure, I am the worst. So there's that. But then he also does things that are obviously very grey, very not good. Like with the baby thing, that was a bit of a not cool moment. So he's very conflicting, but there was a moment, I think I highlighted it somewhere. Oh yeah, this is it. So he says this, he's like, oh, that you be able to restrain any rebels and then she says, you mean torture? And he's like, yes, forgive me, I mean torture. So I don't know what's happening with him. Juliet, obviously, we're having our insta love moment with our MMC. Honestly, I think that I've like read so many other books where the first book love interest is not the love interest that I now just can't trust anything. So even if I hadn't have heard like the name Warner repeated often, I don't know how much I'd be betting on this, what's his name? Adam. I don't know how much I'd be betting on Adam, honestly. He seems a little sinister. He seems like he's got something going on. So yeah, it is coming back to me, but I don't truly know how this book ends. So anyway, yeah, I'm honestly probably going to keep reading the rest of tonight. I will hopefully be done this tomorrow. And then I need to confer with a list of the appropriate reading order. Anyway, let's keep going. so descriptive of Warner as a character. I'm shocked by the tenderness of his voice, the sincerity which he wants to know, because he's asking if she knows that he can touch her. He's like a feral dog, crazed and wild, thirsty for chaos, simultaneously aching for recognition and acceptance. Also, I've read way too many dark romances recently that I'm reading his character being like, normal behaviour, not normal behaviour, not normal behaviour. What's with these men just like touching her without her consent? Like, yeah, cool, she has like allergic skin, like that usually kills people, but why do you need to like caress her? It's very weird. We are flying through this series. It's off to a very good start. It's very motivating actually to read short books after having read such big books last year. I feel like very achieved. Anyway, Shatter Me I finished last night. I'm really curious where we're going to go with this, honestly. Then we had a novella to jump in, so there's not really a contested way to read this, so I'm doing it the reg way. I don't know if there's alternative ways. If there is, please let me know. So in the novella we are seeing Warner's perspective, which is so interesting. I feel like there were some parts of this novella that I felt were extraneous, that he was telling us about his life more. I would have preferred to have like seen it in more action, but I guess that's the whole point of like getting in his head, because his actions do not speak what he feels on the inside, which is maybe his conflict of his character. Anyway, there was this one quote that I really enjoyed and I felt really summarized this character for me. It says, "I don't consider myself a moral man. I do not philosophize about life or bother with the laws and principles that govern most people. I do not pretend to know the difference between right and wrong. But I do live by a certain kind of code, and sometimes I think you have to learn how to shoot first." And then the thing about Fletcher that we learned after that, where it's morally grey. Look, I knew it was going to be a morally grey character, obviously, when I heard things about Warner and Juliet, like, yeah. So anyway, I'm done with this now. I don't really have too much more to report other than just like it was quite interesting to get into his head. I am now going to move on. We got Unravel Me next. We're in the headquarters, the Rebel Resistance, with people like her. Free from the threat of being used to kill others. Sounds like maybe it's too good to be true. And free to love Adam. Anyway, on to book 2 technically. Alright, so we are officially chugging away at Unravel Me. I am about 30% of the way through. Yeah, please, first of all, ignore my hair. I'm currently hair oiling, so that is, yeah, ignore that. So far, my impression of this is that she has literally gone from one prison to another. I feel so gaslit being in her head and the way she's like existing in this like literal underground prison. It's not a prison, but it is. So I feel very gaslit as I'm reading this. I feel very frustrated as I'm reading this. Ironically, when she actually was in an asylum in the prison, I felt less frustrated, strangely. Which is interesting, actually, now that I'm saying that aloud, which is something I will contemplate. Right off the bat, Castle, don't like him. Don't know what his deal is. He's giving me shady vibes. But does he give me shady vibes because he meets all of the stereotypical like traits of the actual villain in amongst the story where you think the villain is someone else? I just also read the part about like the flipped chapter from Juliet's perspective when she saw Warner up and above ground and things like that. And yeah, I'm hoping this is going to become less frustrating as we keep going, because right now I kind of feel like Juliet in that like basement level, and I want to punch something really hard and then go to sleep for 3 days, because is that not the appropriate response to rage? I think so. So anyway, I need to go wash my hair and take my dog for a walk, do all the regular day things. I'm going to keep listening on my little audiobook. I'm have my book beat, and then yeah, I am kind of hoping that we see Juliet put back with Warner, because now that she's seen him like behind the scenes of like him being like a good guy, he's not a good guy, but like doing the good thing as a not good guy, I'm curious to see when she like discovers that that was like all the simulation and all of these things. Ooh. Anyway, I will check back in with you when we have more to discuss. Alright, so I have things to update you on. First and foremost, I was in bed last night reading my merry way through this book. I am plowing through. These books are just honestly so bingeable, so readable. I think because it's very easy, simple language, so you just fly by. So that's kind of fun. But yeah, I was tracking along, and boom, there was a bit of a truth bomb dropped, which is the fact that they're brothers. And I didn't know it in the way that I was like 100% certain. There was some, it wasn't even like when they first mentioned that Warner could touch her. It was more like when she kept ruminating on it, I was like, it's weird that they both can do it. That I wonder, like, it's so strange that literally no one else can. Maybe it's like it's in the family thing, and I was like, oh my god, are they in the same family? Oh my god, are they brothers? Like one of those, if it's the trope kind of feelings. Hold on, I'm just gonna drink a sip of my drink. Good. And so yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit disappointed that I was correct on that front, because I was kind of hoping that there was a different reason. But alas, here we are. They're brothers. I must say, I'm not a fan of the brother trope. I don't really get it. Like, it annoyed me in Summer I Turned Pretty, like, quite badly. And then in, gosh, what was the other one? Oh, and like Vampire Diaries and stuff like that. I just am not a fan of the brother trope. That's just a personal me problem. Yeah, but is that going to stop me from reading the story? Absolutely not. It's not the way I would have chosen to do things. But that's alright, because I'm not writing it. I'm not Tara Muffy. So anyway, so we got the truth bomb last night. And yes, I think I have finally switched allegiances. I think I get it. The scene when she was in, like, obviously she's been partnered up with Warner to be like, get information out of him. When she's partnered up with him, and she's like getting to know him and like seeing him as this just like really hurt boy, and he like flares up and like arcs up at her, and I was like, oh no, I didn't want to like you, but here I am. I've read a lot of dark romance where the guy is morally grey, obviously, like it's on point, it's on trend at the moment. But something about reading it in a YA-ish format, you strip away all the smut, if you will, and you're left like grappling with what it is to be human. Like, there was one point when she was like, oh, I don't believe that we should give up on people at the age of 19. Like, that doesn't mean that is who they have to be. And I was like, that is such an important conversation to be had for young people, because no, you're 19. Your life is just literally beginning. You feel like you're set in stone, but you're really not. And this is coming from an oldie who feels like they have seen their fair share of Turns Around the Sun, even though I, too, am probably still a fetus in the eyes of many. Anyway, I am going to cozy up with my hot chocolate. I'm going to continue to read. I think I'm like 70% of the way through. I've been listening to it. So we've only got a few hours to go. So I'm going to buckle in. And then, yeah, I think we should be able to wrap this one today. and on to the next one. Adam's gonna be mad. I love like however dramatic she is. The chapter starts with, it's like spending 6 months trying to inhale. Like everything she says is so dramatic. I kind of love it. Like it makes me feel validated as a human being because that's how I see the world. Everything to me is truly that dramatic. And yeah, I realize that she's 17 and I am not, but alas. Here we are. Oh, it's so awkward. Oh no, that's not what you want. He's touched you? Oh, it's my pet peeve. When people are like, I didn't want you to find out this way, but then they don't tell them. What way did you want him to find out, love? Because it's almost like you had the information and you could have delivered it in the way you saw fit. Just words of wisdom over here from your non-fictional friend. Alright, good morning. So, I finished Unravel Me. I was going to say Unite Me. Oh no, this one's Unite Me, that's why I'm confused. Okay, I finished Unravel Me last night. Kind of wasn't expecting her to get shot. I was like, wait, what? And I really don't know what she is doing in that house. Anderson is a creepy man. So that is that. And then I kind of dived right into the second novella of Unite Me. Obviously, that's Fracture Me. And I'm 30% of the way through. And I don't like this novella so far. Honestly, I don't feel the value in it yet. I feel like, obviously, it's just a retelling of what's happened so far from his perspective, from Adam's perspective. Except he's like commenting on like extraneous details that, you know, when we're hearing it from Juliet's perspective, she's obviously an unreliable narrator. She's only sharing her experience of the world. And so we get to see how she's reacting. You know, she might say yes, but she mutters yes, whatever. Which is interesting, but I don't know that it adds much more to the story for me personally right now. Maybe in hindsight I'll be like, oh, never mind, that was very helpful. But yeah, right now I'm 30% of the way through and I'm just like, we could have skipped right past this. I didn't need to know this. And I must say, overall, the storytelling from like this internal perspective is kind of wearing me down a little bit. I am a little bit like, I just want to see people in dialogue and people doing things, and I just feel trapped in these people's head, which is an interesting experience, but don't know if it's my favorite. So these are my thoughts so far. I got 30 minutes left of this little novella. Let's continue and hope it gets better. So Adam is commenting on Juliet's fascination with Warner, and he's like, Warner isn't even human. I shouldn't be comparing myself to him. Besides, she's not his type at all. What is his type? What a weird thing to say. He'd probably eat her alive. I'm sorry, have you met your girlfriend? She's kind of a badass. I think she'd eat him alive, actually. Well, all I took away from that was Aaron is not really in love with Juliet. I'm sorry, but he's like, I don't know if my allegiance is to James or to Juliet. Sir, it is in your actions. You literally like fell apart, which fair enough. Totally understood. You literally fell apart when James was potentially going to be. But the thought of Juliet, like, he was just like, I am in shock. Okay. That's how you feel about a stranger. So yeah, anyway. Yeah, we're just flying through. That is 1, 2, 3. Yeah, cool. Well, I am gonna jump into Ignite Me next. I will update you when I have more feelings. Waffle. Oh, it's a good day. So I've just spent the morning doing a bit of tidying, and I just put the audiobook of the next book, which is Ignite Me. I am now about 60% of the way through this. I think I read half of the book yesterday. These books are truly just so easy to read, but I think I'm reaching a hurdle with this book. The problem is I am reading this and I don't like it. Everyone is so dramatic, and I don't know if it's because I am a 30-year-old woman reading about teenagers, but the drama about kind of nothing. Despite there being genuine problems in the world, they're all like bickering about the most mundane things. And Adam is a true child, which fair, like 18-year-old boys, I guess, are children, but you would think that the war would have like made him a little different. I don't know. And then Warner is so intense. His comedic relief is like the only thing kind of grounding me through this book, if I'm being truly honest. Like they've snail crawled their way from A to B, and there was no objective of getting to B. You're just kind of like meandering around, like, let's figure it out. Anyway, I need to stop talking about this. I'm feeling frustrated in this very moment, but alas, I am going to keep going because I have hope that this was just a little hiccup, a little bump in the road, if you will, on this journey through the Shatter Me series. I don't know. I am gonna put my headphones back in because I think I can't sit down and read this. Yeah, my God. Okay, my favorite line from this entire book is her saying, Anderson is no longer attached to his legs. Creates a really good visual, right? Okay. It's just, there's no debating that image. That is what it is. And then to follow that up, then she shoots him, and then end of chapter, and then the beginning of the next chapter is twice. And then end of chapter.
I used to think that life was cold and lonely when you up and left me sad, overwhelmed.
Okay, so debrief time. We are now done. We're 3 books and 1 novella deep into this series, and I am concerned that I don't want to finish. Positive news is we have 3 books and 1 and 2 novellas deep right now, and we have 3 books and 3 novellas to go, so we're just under halfway, which, look, do I want to keep going? I don't know. So that's good. Right? It's a good feeling to have when you've bought the entire collection. Yeah, it's a good feeling. No, look, I definitely think that this series would have definitely hit differently if I had read it in late middle school to early teens. I think it would have hit differently. But alas, there is also a world where maybe I just am way too close to this and I need a little sec away from this. So that is in fact what I'm going to do. So I will be back with you when I've had a sec to breathe. And then hopefully we can get back into reading Shatter Me. And I somehow make it through the entire thing. Wish me luck.